Omakyanatimarandasya kinangena salakaya Sakshur militan yena tasmai sri kuruve namaha. Namo Valinyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Koratu Se Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhupya Evacha Patitanam Pavanepyo Vaishnavepyo Namo Namaha. We're reading from Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Madhya-līlā, chapter 6, the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And the author is Śrīla Kṛṣṇadāsa, Kavirāja Gosvāmī Maharaj, and the purports by Om Vishnupad, Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Swāmī Prabhupada. Text 100. Gopinathacharya continued, there is certainly an incarnation in every age, and such an incarnation is called the Yuga Avatar. But your heart has become so hardened by logic and argument that you cannot consider all these facts. In the past, your son has had bodies of 3 different colors, according to the age. These colors were white, red, and yellow. In this age, Dvapara Yuga, he has accepted a blackish body. In the age of Kali, as well as in Dvapara Yuga, the people offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by various mantras and observe the regulative principles of the supplementary Vedic literatures. Now please hear of this from me. In this age of Kali, those who are intelligent perform the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in this age, always describing the glories of Krishna. That incarnation is yellowish in you and is always associated with his plenary expansions, such as Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and personal expansions, such as Kavirāja, as well as devotees and associates, such as Swarup Damodar. The Lord, in the incarnation of Gaura Sundar, has a golden complexion. Indeed, his entire body, which is very nicely constituted, is like molten gold. Sandalwood pulp is smeared all over his body. He will take the 4th order of spiritual life, sannyas, and will be very self-controlled. He will be distinguished from Mayavad sannyasis in that he will be fixed in devotional service and will spread the Sankirtan movement.
Is that a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam?
What do you say?
Is that a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam?
That is Gopinathacharya saying to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. It isn't, no. Well, probably it will be there also, but I don't know. In the Srimad Bhagavatam is not about Sri Chaitanya.
But it does mention in the Srimad Bhagavatam, isn't it? With one verse in that Srimad Bhagavatam where it's very similar to that verse. That's why I asked.
Actually, you're right, because in that former purport, you know what says. He's coming with his expansions, with Lord Nityananda and Kavirāja and Swarup Damodar, his parshadas. And it said in that purport about that verse, the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 is explained by Jiva Gosvāmī in his Krama Sandarbha, as quoted by Śrīla Bhakti Vinod Thakur in regard to the explanation of Adi-līlā, 3rd chapter, verse 51. Then what you said, the Lord in the incarnation of Gaura Sundar has a golden complexion. So they predict that in the future the Lord will come as a Yuga avatar in a golden complexion. Very good, Devananda Prabhu. Gopinathacharya then said, there is no need to quote so much evidence from the Shastras, for you are a dry speculator. There is no need to sow seeds in barren land. When the Lord will be pleased with you, you will also understand these conclusions and will quote from the Shastras. The false arguments and philosophical word jugglery of your disciples are not faults of theirs. They have simply received the benediction of Mayavad philosophy. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full of unlimited qualities and whose different potencies bring about agreement and disagreement between disputants. Thus the illusory energy again and again covers the self-realization of both disputants. In almost all cases, whatever learned Brahmanas speak becomes accepted. Nothing is impossible for one who takes shelter of my illusory energy and speaks under her influence. Purport. In this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:22-4, the Supreme Personality of Godhead explains that his illusory energy can perform the impossible. Such is the power of the illusory energy. In many cases, philosophical speculations have covered the real truth and have boldly set forth false theories. In ancient times, philosophers like Kapila, Gautama, Jamini, Kanada, and similar Brahmanas propounded useless philosophical theories, and in modern days, so-called scientists are setting forth many false theories about the creation, backed up by seemingly logical arguments. This is all due to the influence of the Supreme Lord's illusory energy. The illusory energy, therefore, sometimes appears correct because it's emanating from the Supreme Correct. To avoid the very bewildering illusory influence, one must accept the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as they are. Only then can one escape the influence of the illusory energy. Maya. After hearing this from Gopinath-acharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, "First go to the place where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is staying and invite him there with his associates. Ask him on my account. Take Jagannath Prasadam and first give it to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. After that, come back here and teach me well." Gopinath-acharya was the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Therefore their relationship was very sweet and intimate. Under the circumstances, Gopinath-acharya taught him by sometimes blaspheming him and sometimes praising him and sometimes laughing at him. This had been going on for some time. Śrīla Mukundadatta felt very satisfied to hear the conclusive statements of Gopinath-acharya, but he became very unhappy and angry to hear the statements put forward by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. According to the instructions of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Gopinath-acharya went to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and invited him on the Bhattacharya's behalf. The Bhattacharya statements were discussed before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gopinath-acharya and Mukundadatta disapproved of the Bhattacharya's statements because they caused mental pain. Hearing this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Do not speak like that. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has shown great affection and mercy toward me. Out of paternal affection for me, he wants to protect me and see that I follow the regulative principles of a sannyasi. What fault is there in this?" The next morning, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya together visited the temple of Lord Jagannath. Both of them were in a very pleasant mood. When they entered the temple, Sarvabhauma offered Caitanya Mahaprabhu a seat, while he himself sat down on the floor, out of due respect for his sannyasi. He then began to instruct Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu on Vedanta philosophy, and out of affection and devotion, he spoke to the Lord as follows. Purport. In the Vedanta or Brahma Sutra, written by Śrīla Vyasadeva, is a book studied by all advanced spiritual students, especially by the sannyasis of all regulative communities, sampradayas. The sannyasis must read Vedanta Sutra to establish their final conclusions concerning Vedic knowledge. Here, of course, the Vedanta mentioned is the commentary of Śrīla, known as Sariraka Bhashya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya intended to convert Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who was a Vaishnava sannyasi, into a Mayavadi sannyasi. He therefore made this arrangement to instruct him in Vedanta Sutra according to the Sankhya commentary of Śrīla. All the sannyasis of the Shankara Sampradaya enjoy seriously studying the Vedanta Sutra with the Sariraka Bhashya commentary. It is said, Vedanta Vakeshu Sada Ramanta. One should always enjoy the studies of the Vedanta Sutra. The Bhattacharya said, hearing the Vedanta philosophy is a sannyasi's main business. Therefore, without hesitation, you should study Vedanta philosophy, hearing it without cessation from a superior person. Lord Chaitanya replied, you are very merciful to me, and therefore I think it is my duty to obey your order. Thus for 7 days continuously, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu listened to the Vedanta philosophy expounded by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. However, Caitanya Mahaprabhu did not say anything and did not indicate whether it was right or wrong. He simply sat there and listened to the Bhattacharya. On the 8th day, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said to Caitanya Mahaprabhu, you have been listening to the Vedanta philosophy from me continuously for 7 days. You have simply been listening, fixed in your silence. Since you do not say whether you think it is right or wrong, I cannot know whether you are actually understanding Vedanta philosophy or not. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu replied, I am a fool, and consequently I do not study Vedanta Sutra. I am just trying to hear it from you because you have ordered me. Only for the sake of executing the duties of the renounced order of sannyas do I listen. Unfortunately, I cannot in the least understand the meaning you are presenting. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, I accept that you do not understand, yet even one who does not understand inquires about the subject matter. You are hearing again and again, yet you keep silent. I cannot understand what is actually within your mind. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then revealed his mind, saying, I can understand the meaning of each sutra very clearly, but your explanations have simply agitated my mind. The meaning of the verses in the Vedanta Sutra contain clear purports in themselves, but other purports you presented simply covered the meaning of the sutra like a cloud. You do not explain the direct meaning of the Brahma Sutras. Indeed, it appears that your business is to cover the real meaning. Caitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Vedanta Sutra is the summary of all the Upanishads. Therefore, whatever direct meaning is there in the Upanishad is also regarded in the Vedanta Sutra as Vyasa Sutra. In each verse, the direct meaning must be accepted without interpretation. However, you simply abandon the direct meaning and proceed with your imaginative interpretation. Although there is other evidence, the evidence given in the Vedic version must be taken as foremost. Vedic versions understood directly are first-class evidence. Caitanya-caritāmṛta continued, "Conch shells and cow dung are nothing but the bones and the stool of some living entities. But according to the Vedic version, they are both considered very pure. The Vedic statements are self-evident. Whatever is stated there must be accepted. If we interpret according to our own imagination, the authority of the Vedas is immediately lost." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, "The Brahma Sutra compiled by Srila Vyasadeva is as radiant as the sun. One who tries to interpret its meaning simply covers that sunshine with a cloud. All Vedic literature and other literatures that strictly follow these Vedic principles ascertain that the Supreme Brahman is the absolute truth, the greatest of all, and a feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, the Supreme Absolute is a person, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full with all opulences. You are trying to explain him as impersonal and formless. Wherever there is an impersonal description in the Vedas mean to establish that everything belonging to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental and free of mundane characteristics." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, "Whatever Vedic mantras describe the absolute truth impersonally only prove in the end that the absolute truth is a person. The Supreme Lord is understood in two features, impersonal and personal. If one considered the Supreme Personality of Godhead in both features, he can actually understand the absolute truth. He knows that the personal understanding is stronger because we see that everything is full of variety. No one can see anything that is not full of variety. Everything is the cosmic manifestation, emanates from the absolute truth. It remains in the absolute truth, and after annihilation, it again enters the absolute truth. The personal features of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are categorized in three cases, namely ablative, instrumental, and locative. Purport. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states in his Amrita Pravada Bhashya that according to the injunction of the Upanishads, the Supreme Absolute is He from whom everything emanates. It is understood that the whole cosmic manifestation emanated from Brahmā, the Supreme Absolute Truth. The creation subsists by the energy of the Supreme Brahmā, and after annihilation merges into the Supreme Brahman. From this we can understand that the Absolute Truth can be categorized in three cases, ablative, instrumental, and locative. According to these three cases, the Absolute Truth is positively personified. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes the Aitareya Upanishad. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead wished to become many, he glanced over the material energy. Before the creation, there were no mundane eyes or mind. Therefore, the transcendental nature of the Absolute Truth mind and eyes is confirmed. The word Brahman indicates the complete Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Sri Krishna. That is the verdict of all Vedic literature. So that goes on for a while. So we stop here for today. Jai. Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Madhya-līlā, chapter 6, the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Ki Jai. Jai. Śrīla Kṛṣṇadāsa Kavirāja Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai. Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Vedanta Swāmī Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, and the cause of the manifestation, of the creation of the material world, Maya, is desire. Because the living entities have desires when they are not liberated. So the desires is the cause of the creation of Maya, of the material world. Krishna's energy, because he knows, he gives us what we want. So by desire, he creates this what we want. Until we see, no, we don't want it anymore so much. And then we go to another plane where we can live. Okay. Jai Gurudev. Then we read from The Loving Search for the Lost Servant by Om Vishnupad Śrīla Bhakti Rakak Siddhadev Gosvāmī Maharaj. And we are in the chapter Brahma's Illusion, page 53. Absolute Sweetness. The scripture gives us three conceptions of the infinite: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. The Brahman conception is the all-comprehensive infinite. Whatever we conceive is within it. Paramatma is the smallest of the small. So the Brahman conception is Krishna in the most big way, and the Paramatma is Krishna in the most small way. Whatever you can conceive of that is small. It is smaller than that, Paramatma. And the Bhagavan, or personal conception of Godhead, is of two types. One is as the master of infinite majesty and power, and the other is of absolute sweetness. Jiva Gosvāmī has given the essential meaning of Bhagavan in his Bhakti Sandarbha. He says, Bhagavan Bhajaniya Sarva Sat Guna Vasishta. By Bhagavan, he described this aspect of infinite, Bhajaniya, worshipable. When we come in touch with him, then we want to surrender ourselves for his satisfaction. That type of infinite. So, for the devotees, for the aspiring souls who want Krishna, they say Krishna is very near when the devotee surrenders and is dedicating his life, her life. Then Krishna is very near when we dedicate ourselves and we surrender ourselves. But Krishna is very far when we not dedicate ourselves and we not surrender ourselves. Then Jiva Gosvāmī says, if we do that, the Lord will come to us. We will feel that by our surrender and our dedication for his satisfaction. There are various types of infinite. The highest conception of the infinite is Bhajaniya Guna Vasishta. He is so beautiful and attractive that he is attracting all to surrender to him. No other conception of the infinite, neither infinite space nor time, nor anything else can approach the highest conception of the infinite. the all-attractive infinite. All the other aspects of the infinite, infinite time, infinite space, infinite power, are external. But infinite love, which attracts love and self-surrender, is the highest type of infinite, and that is Krishna. There is nothing more sweet, nothing more attractive, nothing more pure, nothing more intelligent to do with your life without a reaction, to dedicate yourself, to surrender yourself. Not everything is contaminated in the material world, even though it looks a bit like nice or attractive. It is not our it is not our purpose to go into it. It will not give a good result. So if we are intelligent, we understand that. And more when we read, when we hear, with the association of a pure sadhu, then we become enthusiastic. We become encouraged to say, yes. We are sitting here, so we made that choice, but now to keep our strength, to keep ourselves enthusiastic by reading. When you read, you think, okay, yeah, I made a good choice by read, because there's nothing in the material world what is more attractive, what is more intelligent, what is more sweet, what is more... Nothing there. Look at the faces of the people. And they tell you, no, not so good. He is attracting all to surrender to him. No other conception of the infinite, neither infinite space nor time, nor anything else can approach this highest conception of the infinite, the all-attractive infinite. We will say that to Elon Musk and all the scientists. This man, go here. There you will find the infinite scientific solution for everything. By infinite love, which attracts love and self-surrender, is the highest type of infinite, and that is Krishna. Attraction is the most fundamental element everywhere. All else can be eliminated and forgotten if we come in touch with attraction and love. Everything can be ignored if we are in connection with love. The fulfillment of our existence, of all existence, of everything, is in love. Love is the principle in the center, which is the only fulfillment of all existence. The very gist of existence is there. It cannot be ignored or challenged by any other forms or aspects of our substantial existence. It is unchallengeable and absolute. Whatever we may experience, the most central need for fulfillment remains love. The absolute king of everything is love. Nothing can stand in comparison with it. Coming in clash with the principle of love, all will have to accept defeat. Mahaprabhu pointed out that this is the most substantial thing in this world. Madhvacharya, in his conception of how one should see the Acharya, the spiritual master, could not harmonize Brahma's bewilderment. After all, he is the Sampradaya Guru, the foremost Guru of the tradition, the Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. So Madhvacharya omitted these 2 chapters on the illusion of Brahma from Srimad Bhagavatam. So Madhvacharya, the Acharya of that line, Madhva, he could not take it that Brahma would get into illusion. So he omitted that. He took that out. He followed everything, but not that part that Brahma is in illusion of Krishna. We read it before, that he takes all the cowherd boys and all the cows. But Mahaprabhu did not. He accepted Śrīdhar Swāmī's edition, which is in accordance with the Siddhanta Dvaita philosophy of Vishnu Swāmī. The Vishnu Swāmī Sampradaya are followers of Ragamarg, spontaneous devotion. Śrīdhar Swāmī included those 2 chapters with his commentary, and Mahaprabhu accepted that, and it is corroborated in Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Madhvacharya could not accommodate the idea that Guru may be seduced. He could not tolerate that Guru may not know everything, may not be omniscient, but Mahaprabhu could. Then a little paragraph. Love's power is unthinkable. Although it is impossible, the infinite is defeated by the finite. What is that unthinkable position? It can only be attained through love. And how adorable and precious and valuable that love is. To acquire a drop of that divine love, no sacrifice is sufficient. So we are encouraged to die to live. That ends the chapter of Brahma's illusion. Jai, loving search for the lost servant by Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Siradev Gosvāmī Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Gurudev. Hari Yaraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Yaraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Nanda Manohara. Sri Caitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Sada Dada Siva Sadi Kora Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Rupa Sanatana Tara Guna. Sri Jiva Gopala Tara Guna. Sri Jai Kosai Kori Charana Bandhan. Yahweh Te Vignana Sabishta Puran. Sri Jai Kosai Kanu Vitarada. Sansavara Parare Namara Panchaka. Sandhira Chalana Sevi Bhakta Sameda. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Nitai Guru Haribo, 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 Nitai Guru Nitai Guru Haribo, 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 Nitai Guru Even on the pose?
Jai Shri Guru Ganga, Swāmī Hari Juki
Jai.
Shri Guru Ganga, Gandhava Govinda Sundar Juki.
Jai.
Jayam Prishipaya Paramamsa Paravaja Kacaya Vari Atatata Shri Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Devī Gosvāmī.
Jai.
Jayam Prishipaya Paramamsa Paravaja Kacaya Vari Atatata Shri Shri Bhakti Sri Devī Gosvāmī.
Jai.
Jayam Prishipaya Paramamsa Paravaja Kacaya Vari Atatata Shri Shri Bhakti Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jayam Prishipaya Shri Gaur Kishore Ganswati Ji Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jayam Prishipaya Shri Sachi Shri Bhakti Thakur Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jayam Prishipaya Shri Jagannath Ganswati Ji Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Guru Guruvaki Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Haridas Thakur Ki
Jai.
Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Vaishnava Pandit Ki Jai.
Jai.
Devi Vijayavishnu Ki Jai.
Jai.
Krishna Master Kavach Prabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shamanandi Shri Nivasa Acharya Prabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
Gavindas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri
Jai.
Kṛṣṇadāsa Kavirāja Ki Jai.
Jai.
Sister Swami Sabindari Ki Jai.
Jai.
Nanda Prabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Nanda Prabhu Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Radha Krishna Prabhu Gopinath Swami Kundvari Kundi Kavirāja Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Lakshmi Narayan Devi Ki Jai. Shri
Jai.
Navina Shri Śrīla Ki Jai. Bhakti Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Mahamani Ki Jai.
Jai.
Tulsi Parikama Ki Jai.
Jai.
Chandra Maharaj Ki Jai. Grand
Jai.
Prashna Bhagavatam Caitanya-caritāmṛta Ki Jai.
Jai.
Bhakti Ki Jai. Markamama Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Caitanya-caritāmṛta Ki Jai.
Jai.
Vyāpitādaya Sakma Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Dhammayapur Ki Jai. Shri
Jai.
Dhammayapur Ki Jai. Vrindavan Puruṣottam Brahmā Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jagannath Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Vinakaran Ki Jai. Shri Śrīdhar Kavirāja Ki Jai.
Jai.
All the assembled devotees Ki
Jai.
All the devotees all over the world Ki Jai.